Hello everybody and welcome. This video I'm going to walk you through how to use iNaturalist as part of your data analysis for your biodiversity project. So remember, each time we do a data collection there are two pieces. The first piece is getting your ground truth samples, which are two samples that you've collected from one of your park locations. Those you're going to analyze and identify and upload to iNaturalist. The second piece that you're going to be doing is data analysis. This is where we're going to be getting all the information about all the other species that are present in the park, whether you're arthropods or woody plants. Now you can see here I've already got iNaturalist.org pulled up and I'm already signed in. Hopefully you've already created an account as part of the workshop and you'll be able to sign in. When you go to conduct your data analysis, you're going to want to click the Explore. And this is going to show you all the observations. Right now you can see this is showing all the observations in the world on iNaturalist. Well, we're not concerned about the world. We necessarily want to focus on a park. So let's go ahead and go to a location. So a location we might be doing is the Austin Nature Center. Let's see if I can pull it up. And you'll see sometimes weird things pop up in this location. And that's what we want to talk about. So let's just pick Nature Center Drive, and you'll see it's pulling me close to the Austin Nature Center. If I zoom out, I can see that here is the Austin Nature Center, but it's created this weird boundary box focusing on just Nature Center Drive. And we don't want to use that boundary box, so I'm just going to delete that for right now, and you can see the entire Nature Center. In order to figure out all the species at my particular park or location, we want to go to this little icon here, Places of Interest. So if you click Places of Interest, you'll see these community curated locations and spaces. As you'll see, one of these spaces has been created by Mr. Walker, which will allow you to see what we're looking at. So we want the one that says Austin Nature and Science Center. And we click that, and that's going to show you this region where we're going to be looking for species. Now, right now, this is showing me observations of all species, so anything that was collected in the park. And I might not want to focus on all that because I want to focus on either arthropods or woody plants. And in order to do that, what we're going to do is you're going to up here and click Filters. And we need to set a few categories. First, we don't want to click Verifiable. We want to click research grade. So it's already been verified as research grade. That just means that it has more validity behind it. Several individuals have confirmed its identity, good images provided, descriptions and such. So we only want to do research grade. And then you'll see these categories over here for what we'd like to look for. If we're doing woody plants, we could just select plants. Now pay attention, that means it's going to give me all woody, or all plants, not just woody plants. So you're going to have to determine which are woody and which are not as you're categorizing them as part of your data analysis. For arthropods, there is no general category for arthropods, but we're going to need to do insects and arachnids that'll kind of combine a nice view of the arthropods in the area. So let's go ahead and do arthropods since that's a little straightforward, and I can hit Update Search. And you'll see this is going to list all this observations. So there's roughly around 1,200 observations here in Austin Nature Center. Now this is easier if we are more concerned with how many observations of each species there are. So you can click Species up here, and it's going to show you each species that's been observed and how many times it's been observed. This is what we're actually getting as our data. So for your data analysis tables, you're going to write down the species, and then the number of observations is how many times we're counting as like the frequency of that organism. So we're going to say there's only 40 of them there. Now, of course, we know that's not necessarily true. This is observation data, citizen science data from people who are going to the park and taking images. But it's going to be part of our project of assuming that that's where that's coming from. So you're going to do that for all the species listed. So species name, how many observations. That's then what you're going to use as to calculate relative densities of how many of each different species are present in your location. Now if you're doing woody plants, it's a little bit similar, except there's an extra layer of steps. So I'm going to take off arachnids and insects and switch back here to woody plants. You can see there's 204 species. The trick here is determining, you'll see that there's all plant species. So I need to ensure that I'm not including things that are not woody plants, like Spanish moss over here. I'm not going to be including. I will be including heavily bamboo, agarita. Those are all woody plants. Now, sometimes when you might need help looking, the first thing I would definitely do, if you can't tell so visually, if it's not a shrub, tree, or vine, you can't really determine if it's woody. You can click the plant or organism and its species, and it will give you a lot of information about its regions, about it in general, its taxonomy, status, and similar species. You can use this information to help you to determine whether it is a woody plant or not as you're going through there if you can't tell from the images that are provided. Another method that you might also use is the Lady Bird Johnson database. It'll also list as herbaceous or woody plants. Also another thing if you can't seem to figure it out from the information here. Another way that I have this here to look for that. So that's what you're going to be doing as part of the project for your data mining. Now, if you get stuck a few other pieces, if you go to community, remember we have a project, so if you want to see what other people have already posted, you'll see here is a project group where students are already taking and submitting different observations. So you can use that one to help you ID things if you're trying to figure out, or to kind of see good examples of great observations that students have taken, just to give you some essence to kind of look through them. The other piece you might need help with if you ever get a point where you're stuck, whether you're uploading or looking for items or how to use iNaturalist, there's some great video tutorials under the More section that shows you how to use iNaturalist, uploading observations, some of the categories if they weren't explained previously. But that's what you're going to do each time. Please remember always when you're trying to find the location, you use places of interest because the boundary boxes will be definitely different than when you're looking on the locations. So good luck and reach out if you've got any questions.